we go straight to the Australian, you can see there a very graphic front page, a very illustrative front page with an Indian woman on oxygen there. Will help, but travel ban likely as India gasps for oxygen. And the front page of the Australian says Australia will impose a ban or tougher restrictions on travel with India and is preparing to send ventilators and medical equipment to support thousands of COVID-19 patients flooding emergency rooms across the subcontinent amid warnings the country is gasping for oxygen. Prime Minister Scott Morrison will convene a meeting of the National Security Committee of Cabinet on Tuesday to decide on upgraded border restrictions with India as his Indian counterpart Narendra Modi confronts a catastrophic virus outbreak with more than 350,000 daily infections and thousands of deaths. Now, of course, Tanveer, this also is on the front page of the Telly and The Age tomorrow and most of the other newspapers, but it's a dire, dire situation in the subcontinent right now.
Yeah, look, Peter, India's become the centre of the pandemic, hasn't it? And there's so many different angles to this story. I mean, one, just the human tragedy going on. Two, how do we deal with it? Closing borders, etc. But also, how does the world help them? They're running out of oxygen, running out of supplies, helping to make the vaccines. So that's a big angle. And then I guess a partly uniquely Australian angle is our cricketers. There's a big move to try and get our cricketers out. So there's multiple angles to this huge story. And the Australian is covering them there's about 3 different stories on that. And that's a very powerful picture, isn't it? That gasping for air, and there's so many analogies regarding the gasping for air regarding India right now.
Tanveer, let's have a look at the front of the Telly. Aussie stars COVID SOS, Test cricketers trapped in India. Virus apocalypse. Australian cricketers have made a desperate appeal to the federal government to help bring them home from COVID-battered India as doctors urge them to return as soon as possible. Now, Steve Smith, Pat Cummins and David Warner, arguably, and this is not in the story, but I'm going to say this, arguably Australia's 3 top cricketers are still in the country after 3 players fled the Indian Premier League. Flights from India could be stopped within days. Now, there you go. I mean, we have a rich history, cricketing history with India, and our hearts and our prayers go out to our friends in the subcontinent tonight.
Look, Peter, there was quite a lot of criticism about the IPL even happening this year. And really, it was it had a lot to do with the pure power, financial and political might of the BCCI, the Board of Control for India, which, to a large extent control cricket. I mean, they're the most powerful body in cricket. So they really pulled the strings and had the IPL on. And it's looking increasingly ridiculous. You've got these super high-paid cricketers playing in these fields. Meanwhile, all around them, there's people kind of dying en masse and the country's imploding. It is really looking ridiculous. And so I'm not surprised some of our cricketers are kind of looking to jump ship. But I think they'll take advice and we'll see how it plays out in the coming days. But it's increasingly looking very problematic that this tournament is still happening.